All right. Realized I really haven't done a start to finish on cutting something out with a plasma cutter. So what I want to do is kind of show you basically how I go from starting a job to finishing a job. So what I want to do is cut this out right here. All right, so this is going to be a new logo for a new restaurant up at Bandon Dunes. And all I'm going to do is cut out the cleavers there. So some artist came up with that design, and I'm basically just going to hit print on this thing. All right, so I put a piece of transparency paper in. This is the good stuff. Don't buy the cheap stuff. And then basically what I have is that image right there. All right, let's go to the next step. All right, this is 10 gauge stainless with a mirrored finish. So this is going to be the side we're going to trace on, and then I'll show you what the other side looks like. Holy smokes! Can't even find it on the screen. Anyway, that's pretty fancy stuff. So I'm cutting the light on the overhead projector, but basically, for those of you who remember school back in the 80s and 90s, that's all it is. It's my piece of transparency on the overhead projector shining on the metal. I like this format. I like this format because if you want it small, you move the projector closer. If you want it large, you move the projector back. So we're going to trace this thing out with a Sharpie and pretty much then go whack it. I know I said Sharpie, right? These are these Milwaukee Inkzol pens, they call them, or whatever. They hold up better than a Sharpie. You could write on grease. You can get wet and they will last. I buy these things by the pound. They're fantastic for field work, for shop work, for just jotting down notes. So anyway, really, really tough deals, dudes. You can get them wet. You can't get a Sharpie wet. Let's cut it out and see what it looks like. I only got one piece of metal. That's $19 worth of metal right there. Let's give her a go. Now when I deal with stainless puts a lot of fairly bad stuff in the air. Make sure you put a really good respirator on when you cut stainless. I got the fan going. You know, and then the other thing I really want to concentrate with stainless on is I don't want to touch any sanding disc or something that was used with regular mild steel prior to. So when I finish this thing, it's going to be a brand new sanding disc, you know, aluminum oxide flat disc, because I don't want to go from mild steel to stainless. It will then bring out some impurities and it will rust. And you'll see these spots all over it. So we're gonna try to keep this as clean as possible the entire time we're working on it. All right, mask up, plasma cutter. So, you know, one thing I'm gonna do, I haven't used a plasma cutter in a few days. I wanna warm up before I get these edges down. So I'm gonna warm up on these holes in the circles, you know, get the feel for the torch. And that's kind of the way I'm gonna work. Trying to screw this thing up best I can, get in a comfortable position, and let's go to work. so that I am more comfortable dragging the plasma cutter downwards, you know, with this angle than trying to push up. Anybody that's ever used a skill saw before will understand that in order to cut a straight line with a skill saw, I mean, you take a chalk line, you snap it, it's all about just keeping a steady pace. If you speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, your line looks, you know, like this. Same principle with this torch. I just want to drag it at a nice steady pace, and that's going to keep my line fairly close to where it's supposed to be. So, so now I'm, you know, flip this thing around and work, you know, work high to low, work left to right, work right to left, whatever's comfortable for you. But these are pretty good lines. A little bit of work there, you know, I like it. All right, I'm throwing it down there right now. Okay, you are not a welder unless you have something like this or one of these machines right here. So this is a belt sander. It's got, you know, I never use this part, but it's got something you could put flat on there, you know, and take that edge off. I use this down here. The beauty of this is it's going to shoot all the sparks, you know, directly away from you. Little 110 machine, 60 inch by 2.5 inch belt. The belts last a long time. So anyway, you could take a lot of metal off with that. Beveling edges, you know, for box tubing if you're going to weld it, rounding pipe. I mean, it's unlimited what this thing does. So anyway, great, you know, like $3,000 actually, but well built and well made. And the guys that I know that own these things, I've only owned this, you know, about 3 years, but my buddies that weld, they've had this same machine in their shop for, you know, I want to say 15, 20 plus years. Fantastic machine made by Ellis. Get one. It will save you hours and hours and hours. All right, so I'm going to do my best to keep these edges straight here. So, like I told you, stainless steel, don't want any impurities. Got to do the rest of the flap disc. Brand new. Not using something that touched metal before. So I know I've told you guys this in the past, but for years I used just simple flat discs to sand with. that's a great indicator. If I would have used something flat, if I would have used something flat, something like this, right? If I caught an edge with what I just did with the flat disc, it would have shot all over the place. All right, so able to keep some of the mirror. Can't keep all of it. If I wanted this to be mirror the entire way, applying heat to it would not be a good idea. That would be strictly a water jet. That's a lot of money, and I don't have one. So pretty simple. I'm going to sand the other side. What I'm going to do that, I'm going to put some cardboard down. I don't want to scratch this anymore. But that's pretty much what they're asking me to do. And if they want something fancier, then they can go nuts with somebody else. And the reason it's not done with a CNC is just because I don't know how to program all this different stuff. I'm sure somebody out there, that has one could whip something like this out a lot faster. This is maybe 45 minutes start to finish. It looks like a piece of art. It's pretty darn cool. And now let's package it. So I'll show you guys how I box things up. Step number one, I got a box, right? Right size box. Step number two is the last thing I want this thing to do is slide around inside the box. So I got a nice piece of scrap. Trying to cut the box. Right on, it's going to fit in there like that. That's going to go like that, and then I don't want this thing sliding around for the old United States Postal Service. So, next step. So a lot of the gates I install, the operators, I use a lot of irrigation wire. Irrigation wire is great. It's sealed. It's cheap. But anyway, it also makes for nice little colorful tabs. So I don't want this thing to move around. And that is ready to go. Most important is a website called pirateship.com. So pirateship.com basically gives you, the user, the patron, whoever signs up for it or whatever, it doesn't cost you a dime. You basically get your own account. It remembers places that you shipped before. It calculates the shipping cost. So if you're into shipping stuff, you pretty much need a small scale. If I walk this into the United States Postal Service, I don't get the commercial rate. I pay a lot more for not having the commercial rate. I know the United States Postal Service, they'll have pre-made boxes with pre-made prices. Those are great too, but this gives me an accounting of what it costs. Basically, I type in the address, I type in the box size. The thinner the box, the cheaper. Don't worry about weight. This could be 12 pounds. It's not. It's maybe 1.5 pounds. But basically, it's the size of the box that matters. Okay? There's a joke in there someplace, but I'm not going to go there. Anyway, I'm going to box this up. I'm going to go to this thing. It's going to print me a label. I get the commercial rate to send this. It's about 500 miles where it's going. It's probably going to cost me about $8 or $9. I walk into the Postal Service. I drop it off. It gets there in 1 to 3 days. It's a no-brainer. If I walk into the UPS store, I probably pay somewhere around $40 for this. If I walk into the post office, I probably pay somewhere around $30 for it. So anyway, this is going to save me a whole bunch of money. It's right there. I print the receipt. I can track the package. Pirateship.com. Can't brag enough about this website. No matter what you're sending or who you're sending it to, it's really the way to go. So, I mean, what am I out? I'm out $20 in metal. I'm out about 45 minutes in time. I'm out about $1.50 for the box. I'm going to be out another, $8 or $9 to ship it, and hopefully it turns into a very profitable job. Least they can do is buy me a steak next time I'm up in Bandon. So, anyway, that's the process. That's how I cut something out from start to finish. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you see that I did something that you can save me some time on, have suggestions, please comment below. And I will keep more videos coming. All right, thanks, bye.